Earlier, I asked John Feeley, a former U.S. ambassador to Panama and U.S. Marine helicopter pilot, whether these boat strikes cross the line into illegal use of force.
Oh, I think it crosses the line and it crosses back over again and perhaps crosses again just for good measure. Look, this is a very, very serious violation. First of all, it is very clear under the law of war and under the U.S. Code of Military Justice, Tommy, that you do not shoot undefended survivors of a skirmish, even if they are well-defined, uniformed enemy combatants. What we've got here is not just a second round for what they call a double tap to make sure they're all dead, which are the words that Pete Hegseth had said earlier, but you've got folks that you're not even sure, or we the public, and most importantly, the United States Congress is not even sure that these people are who the Department of Defense alleges they are, and that is narco-traffickers. So this is very serious. Pete Hegseth, I believe, is under a lot of pressure, and correctly so. And I think what you're going to see, Tommy, is that the Congress is going to continue to push on this issue of who gave that order, who gave the verbal order, who gave the exord, as they call it, the executive order. And one of the things that gives you a sense as to how much pressure they're feeling is the fact that the civilian leaders are trying to skate out of it. And that is very worrisome, because that's throwing the admiral under the bus.
Right, and beyond just this incident, the wider operations have faced criticism. But despite the criticism, Pete Hegseth has been defiant. He's even saying the U.S. operations have only just begun. What does this tell us about Washington's long-term intentions in the Caribbean?
Well, what it tells you about the Trump administration's intentions is that they only know one mode, which is to be iconoclastic, to break rules and precedent and protocol in just about every sphere of their activities, whether we're talking about international tariffs or we're talking about following domestic law with regards to implementing our immigration policy. So they're going to break laws, they're going to break precedent, and then they're going to double down in the face of pressure. One of the things that I think our viewers have to understand is that just psychologically, Donald Trump is a man who was trained his entire life never to apologize, never to give ground, and if he gets hit, he hits back twice as hard. So everybody in his entire circle this time in the second government, not in the first one, but in the second one, understands that very clearly. So what you're seeing from Hegseth is absolutely true to script for being Donald Trump's Secretary of Defense.
And in light of that, looking at Venezuela, is war inevitable?
You know, wish I had the crystal ball to be able to say no. I think there are several scenarios that we can look at very briefly. The first one is the ground invasion. I think that is not very practical and not going to happen for this simple reason. For about 3 months now that the United States has had this flotilla down there, it has had the same number of invading Marines sitting on the Iwo Jima, 2,200. It's called a battalion reinforced team. That is literally the unit, the type of unit that I used to fly 30 years ago. When the United States invaded Panama in 1989, it already had 3 bases there, and it took 27,000 people, soldiers, to invade a country of 3.5. Venezuela is the size of Texas and Oklahoma put together. It's almost 28 million people. This is not an invasion force. So I think you can take that off the table. What I don't think you can take off the table is launching, continuing to hit small boats. Although I would note we haven't had one for 2 weeks, and launching Tomahawk missiles from standoff distances in international waters on alleged narcotics trafficking centers. Possibly, if we get lucky, Donald Trump will do this 10, 20 times. There won't be many civilian deaths. He'll make a lot of holes in the jungle, put it up on the Truth Social account, and declare victory and slowly draw it down.
Right.
The reason he would do that is because the American people really have no appetite for another foreign war.
Okay, there's quite a lot to discuss, but I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Ambassador John Feeley, thank you very much for speaking to us.
A real pleasure.